What's up, YouTube? It's me, Omni, and today we're going to talk about racism. That's right. It's time to get racist. My favorite subject. In case you guys don't know, I am very racist. Racist equally to every race. I hate all races equally. I'm here with my chat, with the rest of the racist chat. These guys right here are more racist than me. What's up, racist chat? How are you guys doing? Please don't actually say anything racist, chat. This is a bit. It's true. Racist AF. Super high school level racist. You're going to... Hey, you gonna say the word? Okay. Y'all going crazy now. I cannot be a part of this. Is this what happens with Ada Ross's chat? I didn't ask y'all to start the race war. Not yet, okay? What are we doing to white people? It's a viral video recently. Let's watch it. Talking about the rising racial hatred of white people. Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about what we're doing to white people.
Let's talk about it.
There's been something going on for a while now that we're being told not to notice. More to the point, that we're asking white people not only to ignore, but to accept. The rising tide of racial hatred against white people. In the past decade, back when I was a kid, in the early 2000s, the mainstream American culture preached about respecting each other's differences and not seeing color. Nowadays, we say that not seeing color is racism, that you must see color.
That's correct.
But the more I see how things are unfolding, the more I'm convinced that this is wrong. Back then, saying something offhanded about white people were seen as not appropriate, just as it would be to say something offhanded about people of any other race. But that soon gave way to our current times, in which there exists virtually no limit to what racial minorities can and do say about white people. I believe this is the natural outgrowth of a perverse ideology that teaches us that every societal ill, is the fault of white people, and that whatever prejudice acts we may inflict upon them does not constitute discrimination because we don't have the power to discriminate. And alarmingly, this is particularly pronounced in the younger generation. But is it true? Do we not have the power to discriminate?
Okay. He said it's not all the white people's fault. He said, listen, stop blaming white people. It's not their fault. But if you're in the chat and you're white, I ain't saying it's your fault. Look, all I'm saying is if my ancestors did some fucked up shit in the past and then people were upset about my ancestors and they were upset, I'd be like, okay, damn, that's rough. I get it. I cannot just look at you as an equal. That's fucked up. My ancestors fucked up. But that's not to put it on me. And I guess what he's saying here is that now people are making fun of white people, the present white people. We've got different types of white people. You have white people and what they've done like in America. And what they've done over the past decade, past 100 years, 200 years, 300 years. And then you have like a normal white person, a normal white dude, who's just like me and you, who walks around minding his business, chilling, drinking soda, eating hot Cheetos, and lying. And he's just, suddenly he's the butt end of a joke because he exists, right? There's the two separate things that are going on here. And I do agree that there are a lot of people out there who are terrible towards white people, not even just making white people a butt end of a joke, but they are hateful towards white people.
First, let's take a look at the racial hatred at the interpersonal level. In today's society, it has become somewhat fashionable to think things and say things about and to white people that would not be acceptable if it was said about any other race. And we're being taught that this double standard is not wrong, that it is rather a form of empowerment. They'll attribute negative experiences that they've had with white people to their whiteness. You had an argument in line at the grocery store with a white person? They were acting entitled because they were white. A white driver cut you off when you were driving? They need to check their white privilege. Your actions, your conduct, and your existence, in other words, boil down to your whiteness. And ashamedly, at one point in time, this was how I used to think as well. And beyond the people in my circle, I noticed that many people of color have this sort of blasé attitude, an attitude most particularly pronounced when there are no other white people around. What's happening will just chalk it up to my experiences being a fluke. Or worse yet, they'll say I'm lying. So I've compiled some TikTok videos said about white people, especially by the younger generation, the kind of statements people wouldn't dare say about people of any other race. Take a look at what is stunningly in vogue in today's society and ask yourselves, where does this lead to years down the line?
You have a token white and you're hanging out with your friend group of color. You need to ask permission from everybody in the group to bring your white friend. Like, don't just bring them. I might not be in the mood to deal with white shenanigans that day. That's all I'm saying.
White shenanigans?
It feeds into their ego. Like, don't let them think they're a good white person.
Accomplices ask, how can they support Black and Indigenous people of color? And sometimes I really don't know what to say, but here's one easy way. Just don't have babies.
Women can single-handedly cause the white genocide that they are so afraid of. With 2.25 billion Asian women and 500 million white men, baby, it'll only take 2 generations. In 2 generations, there will no longer be any blonde-haired...
These are some things I noticed.
Yo! What? They trying to get rid of white people? This sounds like some Attack on Titans. They trying to get rid of... Yo, we got any Jaegerists? She was thinking beyond her own life. Imagine hating somebody so much that you would hate them beyond your grave. That's crazy. That's some generational hate, dog.
About white American culture, being grounded is a punishment to them. That's what they call punishment. The least grounded, least balanced, most destructive race considers being grounded a punishment? Yeah. They also say really violent phrases. They say things like, kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Why do we have to kill the birds? Why is everything so violent?
Why are you reaching? What the? You can't even say kill 2 birds with 1 stone? No. You telling me that other cultures don't have violent reaching? You know what this is? You know what this is, guys? This is called pandering. Pandering and jumping on a hate wagon will make you popular. And then when you become popular, you get clout. I think people were suggesting that it's okay to hate white people. Like that's becoming the new cool thing. Okay. I'm understanding this a little bit.
It's almost like one's language and phrases reflects one's nature.
Shut your ass up. Nah, fuck all that. Reaching.
The movie on Netflix is the perfect example of the sensationalization of white violence. People have a much easier time sympathizing with white criminals than they do with black victims. People think these shows are harmless, but they actually contribute to a much bigger issue. It contributes to the viewpoint that white people are less violent than everyone else, and white violence is something to be consumed in media, and that's it.
If Joe Goldberg from You was black, there'd only be 1 season because he would have gotten shot by the police. Freeze! Pow! There goes the serial killer, DeJuan Goldberg, shot on episode 3 for a crime he did not commit.
Fucking room. Like, y'all act like you don't understand shit because y'all be the first ones during a conversation about the Holocaust to get so mad when black people be like, you do realize that the original Jewish people were black, right? White people do not need to explain to anybody about us all bleeding red because, baby, you all are the people that need to learn that lesson. Clearly, history shows that you all are the people that like to pillage and eradicate, enslave and oppress, attempt to suppress greatness because you all simply don't have it.
The whole concept of white people, colonizers, and pillaging. I mean, historically speaking, sure. Yes, when it comes to the creation of America, that's exactly what they fucking did. Like, we are not going to pretend that 100 years ago, white people weren't fucking up my people. 100 years ago, if I existed, I'm getting fucking hung. I'm getting strung up on the news. Okay, that we're not going to pretend that this was not just happening recently. There's new white people and there's old white people. You feel me? There's like new white people who are rebirthed and they don't take the teachings that they've gotten from the old white people. But then there's old white people who are still the same people who are in fucking charge of America that they were 100 years ago. Because believe it or not, yes, they are still in control. Racism is still there. Systematic racism is still there. People who are in the KKK are still in power. The police, all of that. White people still racist, white racist people who were still racist 100 years ago and taught that shit to their kids exist today, now, in the office. And you can't ignore that. I don't want people to think that it's okay to be racist towards white people, but it's also to understand that there is institutionalized racism that does exist that affects non-white people as well. It's a gray area. But it's not okay to just be fucking racist to white people for the sake of them being white. I hope this is making some sense.
Fucking cities. Which, by the way, the Q-tip people are the last ones to ever talk about somebody stealing anything. Focused on people looting and trying to get necessities and things that they need. And yes, a TV is a fucking necessity thing. You feel like you're better than because people are out here stealing and you would never. First of all, if you are a Mayo monster, that is how your ancestors got everything.
A Mayo monster? Oh my God. I'm not even white and I feel offended. Somebody called him a Mayo monster. That's fucking crazy. I ain't never hear that one before. That's like Super Saiyan level version of the term crackers.
And that's a behavior that's very common among white women. They have not intended that, but there are many white women who act exactly like you. If you can find
Dog. Oh, what is going on? I wish this was all a joke. That's the thing. I wish this was a joke. And by the way, I'm not laughing at this because this is racism towards white people. If these were white people being crazy against any other group of people, I'd be laughing. I'm laughing at the absurdity of it. Sometimes the absurdity of the level of racism is so out of friggin' pocket that regardless of who is being pointed to, is, to me at least, it's a bit comical.
Both white women, we are inherently a danger in spaces for Black, Indigenous, and other people of color simply by existing.
It's white cis men who are a part of the far right-winged ideology of fascism. That is a true threat and the terrorism to this country.
If BIPOC stand in the street and scream at the top of their lungs, I hate all white people, I want all white people to go die white devil, you cracker bitch, that's still not racist.
What? White people? It be your own people. Listen, I didn't make the rules, white people. That was your own person. And she said that I can go out on the street and yell at the top of my lungs that I hate white people, that I hate white crap. I can say it.
One of the good white people together. Stop separating us from the bad white people. Don't sit out there in comments and say, we don't claim them. We are them. We are the ones shooting up schools. We are the ones raping people, the ones enslaving people.
And I'll say it. I hate being white.
This fucking Uncle Ruckuses? I didn't know there was white Uncle Ruckuses. Wait a minute. White people, is this real? There's white Uncle Ruckuses? White people were like, yeah, I hate my culture. I hate my people. I hate white people. I hate my skin. We're colonizers and I hate it. And we deserve everything coming to us. So is the issue here that there are two definitions of racism? You have one version of racism here that talks about oppression, prejudice, and power, where you can only be racist if you are oppressing another group of people. That's a form of racism. Then the other form of racism is if you are being mean to any other race and hurtful. I guess one is racism and one is discrimination. No, one is hateful. If you're being hateful towards somebody because of their race, that's not discrimination, right? That's the new racism, right? Can you be racist to your own race? You can't be the oppression and the oppressor and the oppression at the same time. All right, I get it now. This is just a definition thing. The second one is a new definition and is westernized. It is fucking semantics. Okay. They're saying, well, the actual term of racism is this. So if I do this, it's not racist. All right. Because at the end of the day, it sounds exactly the same. It sounds hateful. It sounds terrible. It's fucked up. At the end of the day, it's fucked up. No matter what is happening, it's fucked up. But they're using a semantics in order to justify it. Okay.
You went all the way to Africa to physically take black people from their homes, shove them in on boats where a lot of them got diseases and died, told them where they could sit on a bus, told them which schools they could go to, which water fountains they could use, which bathrooms they could use. And that's sugarcoating it. Those are just terms. I'm not even describing all the disgusting things that happen.
Okay.
And they don't even want revenge. They are letting you guys skate by asking for equal rights. That's it? And you're still saying that?
Wait, she's speaking facts. Hey, she ain't saying nothing wrong yet. So far, she ain't saying nothing wrong yet.
not as angry as they should be. Y'all are getting off easy and you're still saying no? Fuck you.
Some people look
that I feel like the last part wasn't bad. She was spitting. She right. She cooked.
And chalk it up to the grumblings of the powerless. That's the idea that when you have a power disparity, the less powerful sort of has this general society given leeway to complain about the more powerful.
Okay.
The villagers complaining about their king doesn't have the same ring as the king making snide and crude comments about the villagers.
This man just compare black people to white people to the king and villagers?
But that's not what's going on here. Because although certain segments of our society refuse to believe this, even as evidence mount before our very eyes, in one side of the political aisle, people of color actually have greater power than white people.
What? I'm not into politics, but pause. We have more power than white people somewhere? Hold up. He said on a political aisle. If he's telling the truth, where?
We have a mainstream culture that tells us it's okay to hold prejudice and hateful view of white people, and our politics is then infused with this energy, and we see active, overt, and on the books racial discrimination of white people that those who are perpetuating this hatred is refusing to see as discrimination. They'll say, no, this is remediation. These are the same people who are making tenuous arguments that some of our race-neutral laws discriminate against people of color. And this is certainly evidence that in one side of the political aisle, people of color have more power than white people.
Okay. That one makes more sense. But the power that black people have here isn't real power. Just because we have the power to complain about white people and not get canceled for it, that's not real power. It's a power in the political sphere, though. It's like we have a power when it comes to the speech. But in my opinion, when I think of power, I think of money. I think of assets. I think of property. I think about wealth. I think about who are CEOs. I think about that's real power. The power in this political sphere for black people to say things and be racist and say mean things towards white people, that's not fucking power. Actual white people of power do not give a fuck.
Because if we didn't have the power, we wouldn't be able to put into place practices and policies that does this. That's what power is. Things like Minneapolis local government agreeing to a contract with the teachers union that says white teachers must be fired first.
What?
New York City's government enacting a policy of having white seniors go to the back of the line on life-saving COVID treatment.
What?
A college professor that says white people should be killed and facing no repercussions. Cornell University banning white people from rock climbing lessons. One of many instances of liberal colleges doing the utmost to exclude and ostracize white students.
Tired of white cis men? Come paint and write. Okay, see, all right. Just when I think like he's not cooking, and just when I think he's talking about something else, then he starts cooking again. What?
BIPOC only events equal no whites, but they don't have the guts to say that, even though that is what that is.
That is what that
So
is.
is different than the mere grumblings of the common villager. The villagers have surrounded the palace, demanding Marie Antoinette's head.
You stop using the goddamn villagers. Listen, he's cooking, and then he keeps comparing us black people and non-black people as fucking villagers and calling them kings. I don't agree with that. By the way, there's something about this guy. He's right, but I still think he's racist. He's cooking, and he's a little right, but I feel like also my spidey senses are tingling.
They use all this mind-bending apparatus to delude themselves into believing what they're doing faces no moral quandary. But in the back of their minds, perhaps in their subconscious minds, is racial revenge.
Racial revenge.
We experienced it, you experienced it too. See how you like it. That people of color are using our newfound power to act this way and then pretend like none of this is going on leads me to believe that we would have done the same thing that white people did were we to be in their historical position. Because such acts have its roots in human nature, not white people nature. And one can...
Oh, shit! He right. I never thought about that. If the tables were turned, I can agree on that. And he's saying that if the tables were turned and the races were flopped or split, the same shit would have been happening. Because humans in general are fucking garbage.
only imagine what might happen in the coming decades when the demographics of the US will have shifted such that white people will no longer constitute the majority, when the younger generation you've just seen have graduated from elite schools and hold positions of power in our institutions, our government, corporations, entertainment, news media, and so forth, how they might, in wielding the levers of society, be able to rationalize, using their adult brain, the hatred that was embedded in their minds during their adolescence. What we're seeing is just the beginning. To the white people who are watching, I just want to say, you are not an oppressor for refusing to accept an ideology that teaches people to hate you, that teaches you that you are inherently bad, that your children are inherently bad, that you are inherently racist no matter what you do or how you think, that you need to repent by taking affirmative steps in your life
I'll
to
agree with
redress
this.
harms that your ancestors may have done,
Okay.
or the racist actions of other white people.
Right.
In fact, you are not an oppressor, period. You did not choose to be born white, just like any of us did not choose to be born in our race. And to ask of you, at the individual level, for example, to give your life in service of people of color, to be used as physical barriers at protests, to give away your house to black people instead of your children, all actual things that have been publicly demanded of white people, to ask this of you is morally reprehensible collective punishment.
If you are born white in a white country, you have privilege. That's just how it works. If I'm born black in a black country and I'm born in a certain way, I have fucking privilege. If I'm born into the royal family, then I have privilege. And if I want to protect my kingdom, aka the villagers, then I do know that I can use myself as the privileged person to protect. One of my friends once, I was getting pulled over. I was with a white guy, my white friend. We swapped seats. He knew that there was a higher chance of if the police officer came to him and he was white, they would let him go. That's just what he did because he's trying to use his white privilege, okay? He's not throwing himself at the bullets of the attacks and repenting for being white or anything like that. But if you do have a push or leeway or privilege in any kind of way, you can use that to protect people that you want to, that aren't or that are seeking equality, I think that's fine. Let me ask you a question, chat. If you were getting pulled over at midnight, would you rather be white or black at that very moment? Which one would you choose? Go. Which one do you choose? That's right. I'm gonna be a mayo monster. If I could shapeshift, bam! Hello, officer. Howdy doodly, officer. I would turn into the whitest man on earth. Privilege. Okay? So I think he's making some good points. I think overall, I think this guy makes great points. The idea is that the new generation of folks are using the technical semantic term of racism in order to fucking be racist. I do think that's a thing. And I think that's fucked up. But I think he is so apologetic to the white cause that he is completely foregoing things like privilege. There's some things where I don't think he's going so far off to being the white knight for white people that I think he is missing a lot of points. But I think he makes a lot of great points as well.
It is not you. It is this ideology that is wrong and perverse. It is one cloaked in a shroud of pseudo-justice and self-righteousness, all the while excreting toxic fumes of racial hatred.
Sure.
It blames all white people for the actions of their ancestors, something you have no control over, while absolving black people of personal responsibility for their own individual actions by holding that black people commit acts of harm, for example, towards another community.
Oh, he said black people. I thought this was white people versus everyone else. Is this... Oh, I'm sorry. This is white people versus black people. Oh, okay. I just got the message. Woo, okay. I thought we were talking about the concept of white people versus everyone else. But he said specifically white people versus black people. What did I tell y'all? I said this is a little racist. You're talking about black people. Go ahead. What you want to say about black people, huh?
All the while excreting toxic fumes of racial hatred.
Because the people who were talking shit weren't even all black people. It was Asian people. There was white people. There was all kinds of people talking about white people, but he just said, yeah, white people, you don't have to worry about nothing when it comes to these black people.
It blames all white people for the actions of their ancestors, something you have no control over, while absolving black people of personal responsibility for their own individual actions by holding that if black people commit acts of harm, for example, towards another community, that's the fault of white supremacy. White people are controlling them like puppets on a string. It's a backwards, transgressive ideology. If you don't harbor any hate,
the concept that black people are blaming white supremacy for their actions of violence towards other people. What? The thing I'm kind of annoyed with is that he quickly turned this into a white versus black thing. With all of his examples, I was with, because he was talking about black people, Asian people, white people, all of these different Indian people, all these different kinds of people being hateful towards white people. This man turned the end of this video into black people versus white people and said, us Asian people stand with you. That's what I'm getting from this. That's what I'm feeling. I could be wrong, but that's the energy that I'm getting from this. What I hate is the fact that he keeps saying they. He is overgeneralizing to an extreme, and he's not properly defining the concept of they, to the point where it sounds like that he is talking about black people. If he's talking about progressives, there are different kinds of progressives, and not every single person who's progressive thinks the same way. But my issue here is now he's talking about black people. He was talking about everyone being this generation that was being mean towards white people, and I could fuck with that. But now he's simply turning this into a fucking race war between white and black people, and I don't know how I feel about that. You'll take it or you'll like it.
you don't have to take that.
He's a politician!
You can believe that the things that have been done in the past were morally wrong, as well you should. All the while believing that what is currently going on is also wrong. That we're going backwards. That this is history rhyming with itself. The table is turning in an eye for an eye manner.
He's pandering!
Mahatma Gandhi once said, an eye for an eye will leave the whole world blind. But those driven by hatred would sooner gouge everyone's eyes out than realize that true victory for people of color would have been having history record that when the power dynamics shifted, we treated white people with a kindness that their forefathers may not have shown our forefathers. But now, it will say when we gained the power, we turned around and started doing some of the same stuff to white people. Segregation, social ostracization, hatred sanctioned by government and law. And we're doing all of this while pretending like we're doing something valiant. We've missed our bus. But that doesn't mean that there can't be a course correction. So, to some people of color watching who are engaging in this sort of hatred, whether or not you're acutely aware, the same people that act like white people as a collective are not people, but rather some pernicious alien force that has come to invade the earth. With this video, I implore you to ask yourself, what are we doing to white people? As some people love to say, do better. Happy New Year.
I've been around the block. I've seen people. I've met people. I see through their bullshit. I see this for what this fucking is. Man's had some good points. Will not disagree, okay? Man's had some great points. Brought some new ideas for me to think about. The biggest point that he brought up was the human element. And if roles were reversed, how things would probably play out the same way but backwards. Therefore, the concept of white people being innately evil or fucked up or colonizers or whatever, it's a fucked up thing to do because, yeah, I think if it was different races swapped, human nature would probably lead things to being the same way. But I do feel like this man is a politician who is pandering to a specific group of white people. The white people who are upset and tired and annoyed with this new generation of people who are pissed off about them, who keep making fun of them and who keep being fucking jerks and are assholes and are mean. He's pandering to these people. And if he had kept it $1.50 and just left it at there are a group of people who are doing this, white, black, Asian, Indian, all of the communities are doing this, I've been on board. But towards the end, he definitely 1,000,000% steers this into a white people versus black people thing. Talking about how if a black person did something to another person's community, aka his community, aka the Asian community, and then he blames it on white supremacy. I believe that I see through this nigga. That's all I'm saying. He's sus, but he made some great points. Anyway, that's the video. That was fun. I don't know how long this is going to actually be for like a YouTube video. Heffelmeyer, good luck editing this, but this was a fun watch. Oh shit. Oh fuck. Now I know why Hassan gets into this politics stuff. Oh, is this what politics is? We get to talk about race all day?